Hello and welcome back to Module 7, Lesson 1. In this lesson, we're going to explore the importance of networking and the impact it has on the success of your social enterprise. At any stage, feel free to pause the video to take notes, rewind to hear information again, or stop the video to complete a learning activity. Let's begin. In this lesson, we will cover 3 topics, each of which have been designed to support your networking journey as you start out on the path to being a social entrepreneur. We will start off with an overview of why we engage in networking, what essential skills you will need to develop, and what many entrepreneurs are struggling with, especially in the beginning. Throughout this lesson, we will explore female-centered communities as a way to bypass some major challenges in the male-dominated environment. We will also point out a few examples of established ecosystems for social entrepreneurship. They could be a possible starting point for your networking activities and a valuable source of information. Let's start with topic number 1, defining networking, its success factors and barriers. Technically speaking, networking is the process of building ties between individuals, groups, or organizations by communicating and interacting with each other. The result will ideally be a community that serves their own and common interests, hoping to improve the performance of all its members. These members are usually connected by a common career, interest, or industry. You probably know the expression that something is larger than the sum of its parts. It really is the way that these parts combine that adds a different quality, and it highlights the principle of reciprocating. Networking is a give and take. It does usually pursue one or more of the following goals. It aims to support innovation, it fosters knowledge exchange, it serves business or career development, and it offers platforms for conversation and collaboration. So in the end, for you as an entrepreneur, networking can bring personal gain as much as organizational gain. And it might be material, for example, in the form of access to finance and other resources, or immaterial, for instance, a recommendation, a referral, or important information. Where we network and how we do it will be part of the upcoming lessons. Moving on, there are many important qualities of a good networker. To some they might come naturally, others will have to make the effort to open up a little and to practice putting themselves out there. Luckily, there are a few key factors for successful networking that you can focus on. 1. Work on self-introduction. Try to respond to the "what do you do" question in an interesting way, explaining not only what you do, but also who you're helping and why. 2. Listen more than you speak. Networking is not about you. Yes, in the end, the main goal is to get new business, but business is based on trust. So if you go to an event and all you do is talk about yourself and how great you are, no one will be interested. 3. Try to be personal. If you're networking and only talking about business, you might come across as very professional, but also as very sterile, and it'd be much harder for people to bond with you. 4. Use a combination of both online tools and physical networking events. While much of the communication happens online, shaking hands and exchanging business cards is still an important part of business. 5. Follow up with people you meet offline. For example, invite them to connect on LinkedIn, customize the invitation you send to them, and set a reminder to follow up again in 1 week. Send them an interesting resource or follow up on a discussion you had. The point here is be helpful and not pushy. 6. Be consistent. Networking is marketing, and you need to market your business all the time, even when things are going well. So book your networking events into your schedule and make a commitment, just like you would with other activities that are important to you. On the other hand, there tend to be certain barriers to networking that need to be considered and addressed. It might be difficult to make your voice heard in groups that are strongly imbalanced in terms of gender representation. Networking is very personality sensitive, and it's often seen as a necessary evil. But not all successful networkers are extroverts. In fact, introverts tend to be much better listeners. It's important to find the right methods that work best for you. As a leader, for instance, you can try to ease more reserved teammates into networking by taking them along with you if you attend events. You might feel that it's difficult to ask for and to accept help, as if you'd have to do everything by yourself. But this is what networking really is about: mutual support. Finally, especially in a male-dominated environment, certain prejudice and stereotypes still persist and might be openly expressed, which could create uncomfortable situations. In developing this course for you, we have spoken to many female entrepreneurs and women with experience in different fields of business. The reality is that the barriers mentioned before still tend to apply much more frequently to women, which is why in recent years more and more female-centered communities or women's networking groups have been formed. They create safe and supportive spaces where personal and professional experiences of women are normalized, and therefore allow them to have frank discussions, for example, about work-life balance or gender equality in the workplace, and to work towards solutions and improvements. Let's look at some of these networks and their scope. First, there are networks of women in similar positions that allow their members to share strategies with each other. They typically refer to issues of leadership and business development, but can also serve to create and advance a common political agenda. 2. Networks of diverse women, on the other hand, create the opportunity to meet women that are unlike themselves, but could be helpful financially or politically. You will usually find these in the form of career platforms or mentorship programs. 3. Similarly, you could reach out to the networks that provide their members with access to resources you might find hard to acquire otherwise. An increasingly popular approach, for example, are financial communities for women. 4. Another interesting way to network are so-called success teams, which is a group format that creates a regular supportive structure for its members to help them realize their midterm and long-term goals. An ideal success team consists of 5 people with very diverse backgrounds for a variety of perspectives and inputs. Especially through regular meetups, you'll be able to reach higher commitment and accountability in the way you collaborate. Incubators and coaches sometimes offer these groups against a fee, but why not start your own? Here we have a few examples of women-only and female networks in Ireland. You can find the links for each of these websites in the information section of this lesson. The networks include Network Ireland, BPW Ireland, and Work Equal. These are only a few of the networks available to women in Ireland. To find more, you could visit nwci.ie. The social economy is a rather new phenomenon, and it's just within the last 10 to 15 years that major business ecosystems have been developed involving entrepreneurs, investors, researchers, and administrators. Networking within the field is going to be vital for your own project because social impact business address systematic issues with a very diverse group of stakeholders. So where to start? At different stages of your entrepreneurial journey, you might have different needs in terms of access to networks and new opportunities. So the people and institutions you want to connect with will be influenced by whether you want to pitch an idea, test your product, or find new business partners. Therefore, it's important to familiarize with existing ecosystems and to start somewhere, which might mean to attend an informal meetup, to take part in a startup competition or an innovation challenge, or to apply for a mentorship program to generate your first connections in the practical field. Many of the established organizations are continuously open to new ideas and regularly organize networking events and workshop series. On this slide, you will find some inspiration for established organisations in Ireland and some umbrella organisations that already operate internationally and could be useful sources of information. So go and check them out. They're also linked in the information section of this lesson. Let's quickly recap this lesson with a small quiz. Bear in mind that all 6 of the key factors mentioned in this lesson, in one way or another, will be part of the remaining lessons in this module. They are all important to initiate, maintain, and develop professional relationships. Pause the video now to take the quiz. Finally, to conclude this lesson, let's revise what we have discussed. There is no way of getting around networking in your business endeavours. But sometimes it can be a slippery slope, and women particularly face more challenges in being recognised, listened to, and supported by networks in fields that tend to be male-dominated. This is where female-centred networks are trying to create a safe space to reflect on particularly common issues such as work-life balance, equal rights, and career advancement, and to create support systems to practically address these barriers in the workplace. Looking forward to seeing you again in the next lesson.